Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Voice on Stage, a speaking community that teaches you how to speak articulately and fluently, and overall teaches you public speaking. My name is Muaz Idris Zakaria, and I am the founder of The Voice on Stage. Today, we are going to have a live class that will teach you so many aspects of public speaking, and we will dive into so many things that can help you become a better speaker. Today's class will be divided into 3 segments. The first one will look at some problems that a lot of people are having when it comes to speaking and how to remedy those problems. The second part will look into confidence and why people feel frightened by the idea of speaking in public and why people feel so nervous when they are about to speak. The final part will look into the recipes and the things that a speaker needs, the ingredients that every speaker uses when he tends to speak. I started public speaking some years ago, more than half a decade. So when I started, there are so many issues that I had. There are so many problems that tend to be hindering my progress. One of those problems is the issue of clarity when I speak. It is not that I do not understand the language or I do not know how to speak the language, but the moment I open my mouth to speak, I tend to forget all the things that I have already known within the language. And then I had the problem of clarity. When I speak, it's kind of like I am mumbling, and it's kind of like I am not pronouncing the words correctly. But as time goes, as I practice different kind of exercises and techniques, I realize that some of them work, some of them are just a total waste of time. So today we are going to see which exercises helped me the most and which exercises are more likely to help you also. So let's start with mumbling. When I say mumbling, I mean people when they speak, sometimes they speak as if they are afraid to chew their tongue or something like that. And the second problem is that we tend to speak English language with the set of mouth movements of our native language. For instance, if today I am a native Hausa person, I tend to speak English language with the mouth movements of Hausa language, which is why we are having so much, sometimes our accent is hindering our pronunciations, our articulation, and our clarity. So how do we remedy that? How do you speak as clear as possible? The easy path is to teach yourself new set of mouth movements, English set of mouth movements. Let me dive a little bit deeper. Today, if someone is speaking your native language, but he is speaking it as if he is speaking another language, with the set of mouth movements of another language, it will feel so weird and cringy to you as a native speaker. You will feel like this person is not really speaking my own language, because he is speaking the language, but it sounds like he is speaking another language. That is what we tend to do with English language. So, in order to learn those set of mouth movements, you need to practice something called exaggerated reading. Exaggerated reading is very simple. All you need is a book and maybe 5 to 10 minutes of your time. Find a book, a well-written one, open any page, or you could start from the beginning, and when you read, you should exaggerate the mouth movements. Do not read as you are reading ordinarily. When you read overboard. For instance, instead of reading like the common problems we face when speaking, this kind of reading, no. You speak like the common problems we have when speaking. Do that. Try as much as possible. Preferably you should be alone, because when people hear you speak reading like that, it will sound a little bit off. So practice that. When you do it at least for 5 minutes, you will feel like your jaws, your mouth muscles are very tired. That is because they are not used to that kind of speaking, to that way of speaking. Your mouth is not used to those movements. So you are teaching yourself a new set of mouth movements. And when you do that, at least for, let's say, 10 days, you are definitely going to see changes when you speak. When you speak, you are going to sound more natural, and you are going to sound more clear to your audience. Secondly, we tend to speak very fast or very slow, which we will touch in the last part of this session, inshallah. Then the fear of judgment, which is one of the biggest problems we face when it comes to speaking. We fear that people are going to judge us. People are going to feel like or say something that will hurt our feelings. They will judge us negatively. So we tend to hide or tend to limit ourselves. That is why we lack confidence. So how do you go around that? How do you remedy that? It's simple yet hard. Simple as in you only need to change your mindset. You only need to shift your mindset from thinking that I am doing this to impress others. Rather, you are doing this to have and improve yourself, to have a better communication skills. If, for instance, today you tell yourself that if I speak, people will judge me. If I speak, people will say bad things. You are never going to learn how to speak. You learn to speak by speaking. As you learn to drive by driving, and you learn to sew by sewing, likewise, you learn to speak by speaking. So you need to start speaking. And a lot of the times, people are not even concerned about you. They are busy thinking of themselves. Talk less of judging you and what have you. And you need to ask yourself, if I speak today and people judge me, will it matter in 1 week? Possibly it won't. Will it matter in 1 month? No, it won't. Will it matter in 1 year? I know, and I guarantee you that in a year, all that will matter is that you have learned the skill. And people will begin to be amazed and even ask you, when did you learn to speak like that? But today, if you tell yourself that, no, I'm not going to speak because people will judge me, in 1 year, you will be in that same position. So you need to start speaking. You need to take action today. Let's talk about another exercise that will significantly help you when it comes to speaking. It's tongue twisters. I really love tongue twisters because they helped me so much. Back in the day when I used to speak, I would twist my tongue. I would be chewing some words and swallowing them, and people wouldn't be able to even grasp what I am actually saying. So I practiced exaggerated reading to improve my clarity, and then I tried tongue twisters to improve my pronunciation. So what are tongue twisters and why are they so important? In every language on the face of earth, they are having tongue twisters. Why? Usually tongue twisters are for kids when they are learning a language. The elder ones give them those tongue twisters in order to teach them the correct way or the complex patterns of that language. So also in English language, there are tongue twisters, and they help you grasp the complex patterns of pronouncing and articulating English language. A simple example is one of my favorite tongue twisters that goes, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where is the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? This is an example that you can use. And for those that are in my community of The Voice on Stage, I have a comprehensive document of tongue twisters that you can use for 30 days to make sure that you master your articulation and pronunciation. Finally, which this exercise is, if not the most important, it's one of the most important things that helped me, and it helped a lot of my students to conquer and to learn public speaking. It's called Record and Review. It is very simple yet effective. All you need to do is take your phone, record yourself speaking for at least 3 minutes without any prior preparation and without any knowledge of the topic. Let's say, for instance, you just look at this pen and you begin to speak about that pen without planning. Record yourself speaking for 3 minutes. After you record yourself speaking for 3 minutes, you need to review that particular video for 3 different sets. The first time you review that video, it should be after 24 hours of recording it. So let's say you record it right now, you leave it until tomorrow, this exact time, and you review it. How do you review it? For those that are in the community, I used to do this for them, but I will give you the steps so that you can do it yourself. And if you are able to join me in the Voice on Stage community, I will be able to help you maybe once or twice, and then you can take it over yourself as you can see how it is done. The first time you review yourself, pick a pen and a paper, just listen to yourself. Flip the phone and mute it. Listen to yourself speaking. Observe your vocal variation, which we will dive deep into later. Observe your vocal variation. Observe your articulation, your clarity. Write notes. Are you clear enough? Are you pronouncing the words enough? Are you delivering your message correctly? Write those notes. Write the areas that you've known that you need improvement. And also write the areas that you think you are good at. After you finish that first batch of review, then the second one. The second one is watching yourself without listening. So mute the phone and just watch yourself as you speak. Are you using your body language correctly? Are your facial expressions giving the right energy? Are you using your hands correctly? Take notes. See areas that you can improve. And finally, watch it and listen to it, as you normally watch videos online or offline. Watch yourself. Are you a good speaker? Because if you do not already know, you know what a good speaker looks like. Today, if someone speaks, you will unconsciously tell yourself that this guy is a good speaker. So that means that you know what a good speaker looks like, and you know what a bad speaker looks like. So get 1 or 2 good speakers, compare yourself with them. If you are measuring well, you will be able to evaluate yourself and consequently improve later. Let's move to the second part of today's session, which is very important: confidence. Confidence and also nervousness, of course. Let me say this before we dive in. Being nervous before speaking is natural. It is very normal to feel so nervous before you speak. The only difference is that some speakers learn how to overcome that nervousness and that stage fright, and some do not know how to overcome it. So today I'm going to share with you how I overcome my stage fright, and even if I feel nervous, how I walk around that and go up the stage and deliver my message. Firstly, we need to understand that the human being is built, our body is built to be nervous. There is what we call the fight or flight response. Whenever we are confronted with a situation that is a high risk situation, our body reacts in two ways: either to stay and fight, or either to run away. That is why before speaking we feel that nervousness. It is a surge of adrenaline in our body. That adrenaline gives us the opportunity to either find a way to escape or to stay and fight. The primitive human beings, when we used to live in the bushes, it happens to them a lot. When you are in the bush or in the forest and you just encountered a lion or some wild animal, you have only two instincts: either to turn away and run because you know that you cannot fight this war, or either to stay and fight. That is how the fight or flight response works. So when you are going to speak, you automatically get into that situation. Your body moves from a normal way of reacting to the fight or flight response. That is why you feel butterflies in your stomach, you feel so nervous, your body shakes and all that. The trick is only that your body does not know the difference between being nervous and being excited. When you are excited, you feel the same way as when you are nervous. So what do you need to do? Very simple. Just keep telling yourself that you are not nervous, you are just excited for this opportunity. This is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to speak your mind. This is an opportunity to express your ideas. This is an opportunity to educate your audience, so you are excited for it. That is just the difference. What if you are not confident at all? What if you do not feel that confidence entirely? For this, you need to understand that no one knows what's going on within your head. No one knows what's going on inside except God. So all you need to do is appear confident. Appear confident. There is a big difference between actually being confident and appearing confident. If you might observe, you will see that some speakers are not really confident within. They just mastered how to appear confident. There is the common saying within the public speaking community about confidence. It goes, fake it till you make it. Sometimes in other aspects of life it might not work, but in terms of public speaking and confidence, fake it till you make it. And the amazing part is that you only have to fake your confidence for 1 minute. Tops. For 1 minute. If you can do that, the rest of your speech will be automatically confident. Let me explain further. Today, if I know I am going to speak before an audience, but I'm not confident in myself, I will force myself to fake that confidence. But how? There are 5 things you can do to appear confident, even if you are not confident within, so that you can fake that confidence, and at the end of the day, you can be confident. That is the goal. So first of all is how you stand. How you stand before your audience. Do you slouch? Do you look so tired? Or do you stand tall, like you own the room? That is the first step. Stand tall and have a good posture when you stand before your audience. That is the first step of appearing confident. The second one is maintaining eye contact. Look at them. Some would give you the idea to just look over their head, but if you really want to appear confident to them, you need to maintain eye contact. You need to look them in the eye and tell them what you need to tell them. Then the next one is your volume. It automatically tells your audience that you are confident on what you are saying. Sometimes we stand before an audience and we are like so soft. Even the audience cannot hear us enough. Immediately you are telling your audience that I'm not saying something important and I'm not even confident about the things that I'm going to say. You will observe that some of them will just pull out their phones and start scrolling, and some of them will have some side talks and what have you. But if you are loud enough, not loud to the extent that you will come across as rude, but loud enough, you will appear confident. Enter that room, stand before that audience, stand tall with a good posture, maintain eye contact, and increase your volume. The fourth thing that you can do is use your hands. Your hands are not meant to be by your side. They are meant to be a tool to reiterate your message. You say something, you use your hand to gesture that particular thing. You point either to yourself or you point to the board or to the screen, and you try to be speaking with your mouth and with your hands. This shows your audience you understand your topic on so many levels and you are confident. You understand it to the extent that you can illustrate it using your hands. That is how you appear confident. And finally, which is very, very important to you and to the audience, is to smile. Smile as often as possible. If it's possible, if you are a humorous person, make a joke. Preferably make a joke about yourself, not about others. Make a joke, smile, and show them that I am comfortable on the stage. That is how you appear confident. That is how you show your audience that you are a confident person. And I assure you, if you will consistently do these 5 things, one day you will wake up, stand before an audience without even thinking about confidence. You will just dive right into your topic and your audience will be amazed of how confident you are. This is confidence. Although confidence is a very huge topic when it comes to public speaking, but we are going to stop here as we are having the last part of the class and session to dive into. For those that are within the Voice on Stage community, our course has elaborately explained confidence and it has dived so deep into the topic of confidence to the level that it can help anyone that is willing to practice become a confident speaker. So let's talk about the last part of today's session, which is very important. We all know what a good speaker looks like, whether we are public speakers or not. When someone speaks, we feel it in our body that he spoke well. And we also know when someone speaks and we are not that amazed by the way he spoke. But then you might ask yourself, why are some speakers good and why are some speakers not that good? So the answer to that question is that good speakers have mastered the ingredients of speaking. Good speakers know how to use those ingredients. They are called vocal variety or vocal variation. When you know how to use vocal variety in your speech, you have come to the last stage of being a good speaker, knowing vocal variety. So what is vocal variety? You know your voice is an instrument. So you need to know how to use that instrument. There are 4 things you need to understand when it comes to vocal variety, and a 5th one that is the most important. The first one is your rate of speech. Your rate of speech, meaning the speed at which you speak. For instance, you can speak at a very high speed, or you can speak at a very low speed. But the question arises when identifying when to speak very fast and when to speak very slow, or when to speed up your rate of speech and when to slow down your rate of speech. It is very simple, and yet you need to practice it enough to master your rate of speech. When you are speaking on important points, you need to slow down. And when you are speaking on very important or less important part of your speech, you can speed up. Your speed is very important when it comes to highlighting the important parts of your speech or your presentation. For instance, today, let's say I have this sentence. Today we are going to speak about vocal variety. The same speed, but then today we are going to speak about vocal variety. This is a vocal highlighter of vocal variety. It shows us that vocal variety is the important part of the sentence, and we need to pay attention to that. When you slow down on a particular word or a particular phrase, it is telling your audience that this is the most important part. You need to pay attention to this part. And when you speed up, you are telling your audience that this is not as important, because there is no way that your whole speech will be the same level of importance. Your speech will vary in terms of importance. So when you come to those important parts, you need to slow down a little bit. And when you are on the less important parts, you speed up. That is how you vary your rate of speech. In essence, vocal variation means varying those things, varying your rate of speech. The second one is pitch. You need to vary your pitch. You need to know how to use a lower pitch or a higher pitch. Usually, most of your speech should be, or presentation should be ending, most of your sentences should be ending in a lower pitch. How? I could say, let's talk about vocal variation, lower pitch. Or I could say, let's talk about vocal variation, higher pitch. I hope we are understanding the difference. So you need to know that. And something with ending with a lower pitch is that it shows more confidence, and you are having more conviction on what you are saying. My name is Muaz Idris. My name is Muaz Idris. One is like a question and one is like a statement. So know how to vary your pitch. The third thing is your tonality, which is a very integral part of vocal variation. Your tone. Because sometimes it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. A sentence might differ in meaning based on the tone it is pronounced or expressed with. For instance, there is a question, where have you been? A very simple question. But then I could be, where have you been? It's a question, where have you been? I am kind of interrogating or accusing of something. So that means your tone can change from excitement to a question to interrogation to so many different things. So you need to master your tone. But how do you control your tone? Your face, your facial expression is a remote control to your tone. If today you are frowning and saying, where have you been? We know that you are not just asking a question, you are interrogating, you are accusing. But then if you are asking, you are smiling and asking, where have you been? We know that you are asking and you are kind of excited to ask the question. Maybe the person missed something that he should have seen or something like that. Then you might use that question as a way of expressing disappointment, all using different kinds of tone. Sit down, stand up. These are very simple commands, but then because of your tone, it might change to maybe an interrogation, maybe a harsh command because of what? How your tone sounds. And something we need to understand is that even if someone is not looking at our face, if we are smiling and speaking, or if we are frowning and speaking, our voice will express that, because our face controls our tone. Our face controls our tone. If you are smiling, your voice sounds smiley. If you are frowning and speaking, your voice sounds, and you express anger from your voice. That is why when you are on the phone with someone, even if both of you are not seeing each other, you will understand how happy the other person is, or how angry the other person is, because its tone shows you that. Then the fourth part of vocal variety is your volume, which is very, very important. As I explained in the beginning of the session, you need to know how to use your volume, when to raise your volume and when to decrease and soften your volume. In order to express authority and confidence, you need to have a higher volume. And in order to express empathy and to connect with your audience, you need to be a little bit softer with your volume. I hope we are getting the ideas, and we are going to practice them as we endeavor to become better speakers. The final one, which is very, very important and often neglected, is what most speakers use, which is a pause. A pause is very important. It is used as an element of emphasis. It is used as an element of intensing feelings, and it is used as a way to eliminate your filler words and your non-words, the ums, the ahs. Sometimes when you speak, you say one or two sentences and you are like, my name is Muaz Idris. Today we are going to speak about public speaking. Those ums and ahs. Instead of doing that, you could be like, today we are going to speak about public speaking. Can you spot the difference between these two ways of expressing yourself? When you are having those ums and ahs, it tells your audience that you are uncertain of what you are saying. You are not confident on what you are saying, and consequently they are not going to be as attentive, and you are not going to grab their attention as much. So you need to pause. Pausing does not just relaxes you, it relaxes your audience, and it gives them the opportunity to digest and understand what you are saying. So when you speak, do not ever hesitate to pause a little bit. Do not hesitate to stop in the middle of a sentence and gather your thoughts. It is very okay. Especially when someone asks you a very tough question, a very hard question. Just pause 3 or 5 seconds before you begin answering that question. Some people think that when you pause before you answer a question, you might come across as kind of uncertain, or you don't know how to answer the question. But when you observe the best speakers we have, the likes of Steve Jobs, the likes of Barack Obama, the likes of Martin Luther King, if you watch their speeches, you will understand that they pause a lot. And it gives them so much authority, and it gives them so much confidence, and their audience will listen to them. So instead of going rapidly through your speech, vary your rate of speech. Know how to use your pitch. Vary your tone. Increase and decrease your volume. And also pause from time to time. If you're expressing your emotion, pausing intensify what you have said. For instance, when you tell someone, I am very angry with you, and pause a little bit, that moment of pause, it intensifies what you have said. And then you can move along and say other things. That is how you grab the attention of your audience. That is how you connect and you express your ideas, and you become a better speaker as a result of it. This is the final part of today's session, and I hope you have benefited from what you have listened to, and you are going to take action upon it. And I want to invite each and every one of you to join our community of public speakers